All right, let me see this question. Something relationship wise would be showing interest in someone without coming across as weird, not something I need now, but man, like 7+ years ago, what am I reading here? Would have been useful knowing how to be chill and still forward, so you show interest. Would you say you were ever in situations where you fumbled the bag because you didn't realize that someone was interested in you and you just couldn't tell or something, or you were just weird because you got nervous or shy or something? But is it like you're seeing them one time ever? Like you're seeing someone like they're a cashier at a grocery store, or let's say they work somewhere in the mall, or is it like you see them all the time? That's the question I need to know next. Because if it's like instant spark and you don't know if you're being weird or if they're interested or something, and you'll never see this person again, it's a very different situation compared to, like, let's say someone at the gym and you see them all the time. I remember not being confident in carrying myself in the way that I wanted to be, having the confidence to be the kind of man I wanted to be, and not having a decent way to project that version of myself. So I've talked about this a little bit in the past with regards to having confidence in general. The number one thing, at least for me, and this might not work for everybody, but more often than not, if you're trying to become confident for yourself, you typically are going to want to have some sort of skills or a reason to feel confident. One of the things that I think is pretty terrible in life is when people tell you that you should just be confident, which in my opinion, or actually even in actuality, it creates false confidence. It's like, I'm confident because someone told me to be. In my opinion, that is an easy way to build a house of cards of confidence, where it's like the slightest bit of the truth that comes through and just ruins it for you can just destroy you instantly. Where it's like, someone, let's say, no one's really going to call you out and be like, oh, you're being fake right now. But like, if it ever comes across where it's like you can tell that someone's onto you, then you're just shattered right there, because the only thing that's confident about you is the fact that someone told you to be that way. So instead of having that situation happen, have skills, be in shape. Whether or not you have a lot of money or not, have some sort of passion or side hustle or grind that you're working on to say, okay, I have some sort of attributes or value within myself that, whether or not this person sees it or knows this thing about me, I know this about me. Therefore, that is what I'm confident in. Let's say, I'll even say for myself, something that I'm confident in is the ability to have a conversation with somebody who might be bad at having conversations. So if I go and talk to somebody, whether they are, I don't know, the most charismatic person in the world, or like the shyest, most awkward, weird, whatever type of person in the world, if it goes horrendously bad, I know it wasn't because of me. If it goes fantastic, it was probably because of me. I can get them to laugh, I can get them to smile, I can get them to engage. Thankfully for myself, I'm someone who has had a lot of different experiences in a very wide spectrum of things in life. So I'm very easily able to connect with a ton of different people. I was very heavy into sports, as far as like I played football for like 13 years. I was very heavy, or I still am heavy into fitness. I'm super heavy into music, as far as playing guitar, playing the drums, writing music. So being a lyricist, which is also inside of just creative writing or poetry. I've done art as far as painting and drawing, obviously esports. So gaming, content creation, Twitch culture, all the type of stuff. Investing, whether it's crypto or Forex, it doesn't really matter. Those are things that I just know about. So the probability of me being able to talk to somebody, not necessarily about anything or everything, but I can talk to people about a lot of things, it's very, very high. Also, on top of all that too, as far as doing coaching, my ability to talk to a ton of different people at different levels, as far as talking to someone who's very, very young, or someone who's very, very shy, or someone who's even possibly older than me, whatever it might be, being able to bring people out of their shells just because I've had tons of practice from doing it. I guess that'd be the transition as far as the next thing is to say, if I am someone who is confident, the next part is to put it into practice. This is huge. Don't treat every interaction like it is the $1 million question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like, if I fuck this up, it's over. Like, if you treat every interaction like that, then that's where things can be extremely overwhelming for no real reason. It doesn't have to be that hardcore. Instead, just think of it as, I'm going to talk to this person with the context of it's just a person. Even if you do or don't like them, don't put them in a position where it's like, if I talk to this person, I'm going to portray that I think that they're better than me, because what I'm trying to do is get this person. Therefore, if I'm chasing someone or if I'm attracted to someone, it's because they have something of value that I want, and I don't believe that I have anything of value that they want. instead of having an exchange to say that we want something from each other, just be like, I'm just talking to this person. And that's that. So as far as that, the one thing I would do is if you're talking to, let's say, we'll keep it as far as saying we're talking to a girl and you want to get them to, let's say you want to get their number. If it's someone that you're never ever going to see again, then that's where you have to be a little bit more on the playful side, a little bit more on the forward side. And if they say I have a boyfriend, or I don't give up my number, or whatever it is, if you're never going to see them again, there's two things you could do. If you really, really want to, you can kind of bypass that and be like, okay, well, if you have a boyfriend, what's wrong with having friends, right? Not because you're trying to be like a slimy guy, but because every girl and their flipping grandma will say, I have a boyfriend, or I don't give up my number, just to try and see what you'll say, to see if you'll chase them, to see if you're serious or whatever. And if they try and put up some sort of front, just feel like, I don't care, I'm going to ask another way, or whatever it might be. Kind of make a joke out of it, whatever you have to do, as far as just being playful in the situation. And if they're like super dead ass serious, being like, yo, I'm not about this life, then you'd be like, okay, at least you let me know. At least I know the answer now, and it's goodbye forever. And if it's actually goodbye forever, then who cares? Don't let it be like the end of your life. Like I said, it's the $1 million question, who wants to be a millionaire. So if you fail and you don't get their number, or you don't get to ask them out, don't let it ruin your day or ruin your life. Be like, in 5-10 minutes, I won't even remember their name, won't remember who they are. They won't remember who I was. Just an encounter that happened. Might have been awkward, but it kind of is what it is, and that's it. So instead, just treat it like that. If it's someone that, let's say, you're going to see them more frequently, like let's say, probably not if you work with them, but let's say at the gym or somewhere where it's like, if it goes badly, it's not like life ruining, if that makes sense. It's more like, if it goes badly, okay, it sucks. Like, I might have to see this person again and again, but kind of whatever. In that case, this is once again kind of going back, saying you want to treat them like they're a friend, or like they're an equal. So if it's someone at the gym or whatever, someone that you're going to see multiple times, what I would be doing in that case is actually go out of my way to be their friend and get to know them and become an acquaintance, and then eventually ask them out. And if you're just going to be an acquaintance, and you're just going to be a friend, you don't want to put out the energy that you're looking for anything more, which means, and this is one of the best ways to be attractive in my opinion, is if you are willing to make yourself look silly, or make a terrible, stupid joke that, like, whether it's funny or not, is cringy, but if you just laugh it off and be like, I don't really care because I'm not trying to get you to like me, that's typically one of the most attractive things you could possibly ever do, versus trying to have this super, super strong not egotistical, but super prideful front about yourself, where it's like, I can't make a bad joke, I can't be looked at as not cool, I can't be seen as not funny or not charismatic or not interesting, so you go ultra stoic and ultra way too serious. Girls can smell that from a fucking mile away, being like, yo, this guy's trying way too hard here. Instead, I'll even straight up say the most success I've ever had, this is going way back too, the most success I've ever had with any women ever in life is when I treated them like it didn't matter. Like, if you think I'm a fucking loser, great. If you think I'm funny, or you think I'm cringe, or you think I'm like attractive, or whatever, anything at all, I don't care. None of those things matter to me. I'm just being who I am. And it kind of creates a little bit of mystique or mystery about yourself, where it's like, oh, why does this guy not care about what I think? It's a dumb thing for them to be attracted to in that regard, but that's just how it works. So for them, they want to try and figure you out, because you're not like every other guy who just instantly is in love with them, if that's the situation. Past me, but I remember starting college and liking a waitress like a lot. Shift forward, and she's in my English courses. Oh, hell yeah, let's get it. And on the college paper with me, what does that mean? On the college paper with me and boom, had the chance and just don't know how to let her know I liked her and wanted something valid. I get what could have worked or made that situation better, but only now, having someone like you when I was younger, shy and not being able to show the better aspects of myself would have been so nice. Yeah, I understand that, bro. And I've been in the situations too. I've been in situations back in the day where it's like, I was over at a girl's house and I was mad young, bro. I was like 14, 15, and this girl clearly liked me. And we were just sitting together on a couch, and she puts her head on my lap, and I did nothing. And I just was like, oh shit. And then that was basically it. And then after we were like done watching a movie or whatever, I just left. It's like, bro, that was your chance to like do literally anything. I know 14 is young and I get that, but like even then, I didn't do anything. I was like, so you invited me to your house. You said we're gonna watch a movie together. We're sitting on the couch together. You then lay on me. Does this mean that you like me? What? It's like, how the fuck are you that dumb? How are you that stupid to not know that that's what that means? But like, I didn't, and this is the thing too. At the time, because I was clearly like shy or nervous or whatever, weird, never been in a situation like that before. Every guy's biggest fear is that if all of those things happen to them, they make a move and the girl goes, yo, what the fuck? What the hell? I thought we were friends. What's going on? That's every guy's biggest fear ever. So it's like, unless she says it, I ain't doing shit. Unless she says it, I'm not doing anything. Right? So it's unfortunate that that's how it is. But I would say if I was to go back in time, the thing I would say to myself is, I know that you're going to live for a very long time. And if you happen to screw this up, it won't even matter in the future. If this situation is the situation that screws it up, then that means the entire situation was much too fragile and there's nothing you could have done to make it work. So you might as well try and screw it up. If I screw it up, I mean, try and make anything happen at all. If it goes great, then it goes great. If it completely crashes and burns and you fuck it up because you did one thing, literally one thing, then it was never going to happen. I'll say this as a rule of thumb. As far as relationships go, if a girl likes you, there's nothing you can do to screw it up. Truthfully. I will say this though. There's nothing you can do logically. There's nothing you can do logically that can screw it up. Of course you can just act like a fucking psycho and do weird shit and that could screw it up, because like that's obviously like red flags, insanity. But like as far as like if a girl really likes you, or like if she asks you for her number, or if she asks you for your number, or if she invites you out or whatever, it's like these are things that girls typically never ever do. But let's just say that happens. If she does those things and then you're like, I don't know if she likes me because she didn't actually say I like you. If you like, I don't know, ask her on a date or ask her to be your girlfriend, or you try and kiss her or something like that, there's like zero chance that that's not going to go well. Basically zero chance. So in a lot of cases, like, hey, I'd rather not be in the friend zone for 10 years. I'd rather just be in a situation where it's like, oh, that was awkward once and now it's done. Maybe that makes me weird. Maybe that makes me more confident than the average person. Because I understand that a lot of people are extremely fearful of having those situations happen where it's like, if this person says no, my life is over. It's like, your life's not over. Not only is your life not over, your life is probably going to be better. Because if you have to walk on eggshells to try and finesse someone into liking you, it's not really worth your not your livelihood. It's not worth your mental capacity. It's not worth your mental health in general to be like, this is this frantic and this extreme, where if I make a big mistake in my own eyes, that this is the end of the world. Because then here's the thing, if you were to flip the situation, do you really think that they don't think that about themselves? As far as if the girl, let's say if you do all these things all the way along, and then the girl, let's say, makes one move, or is thinking about making one move, do you really think that she thinks, oh, I can just do this, and he'll automatically say yes? No, most girls are fucking terrified. More terrified than guys, honestly, which is hilarious to think, because just the way that the world is, you would never in a million years see an attractive young girl try and go for something and the guy be like, yo, what the hell? I thought we were friends. That's not how it's never how it works, ever. It's always the other way around. As far as if that were to happen at all, it'd be because of the guy. But girls are just as scared. I could tell you there's, I don't want to say tons of girls, but there's a good amount of girls who have been in that situation with me, and it's like, you know, you could just do whatever you want, nothing bad is going to happen, right? Sometimes I'll even make a joke out of it. Sometimes I'll be like, why is this so hard for you? Straight up, like, why is this so hard for you? And then I'll try and remove us from the situation and almost have like an aside or like a soliloquy, which is a fantastic word, I guess, for the situation. And we will, on the side, talk about the situation that's just happening. And it's like, you know, if you just went for it, you'd be totally fine, right? And they're like, what? What? How did you know? So what do you mean, how did I know? No, I was born fucking yesterday. This size too, with a beard. It's insane. This is all the truth. But it's like the amount of people that are like just, they're afraid to be shut down, afraid to be embarrassed or any of those things. 99% of the time, if you've gone on a date at all, I don't even say 99% of the time, 100% of the time. If you're on a date, that means you guys are interested in each other. If you get past going from, let's say, social media, whether it's dating app or Instagram or whatever, if you go from that to a number to a date and you still aren't sure if this person likes you, then what are we talking about, guys? What's going on here? Like, you got to be able to take, I guess, a small risk in that regard and be like, okay, so if in one date you can't even tell if they like you, I'm not saying you have to like smash and go crazy or anything like that, but as far as just the dating aspect, you don't even know if they like you. How many days does it take then? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it a date at their house? Is it a sleepover? Like what's going on? What's going on here? So if at least for me, it should be, I'm not gonna say it's super obvious all the time, but you should want to at least a little bit cut to the chase, or a little bit try and have things out in the open, just so you know. I'm not a huge fan of wasting my own time, just as most people should not be a fan of wasting their own time. And a lot of people get, I guess, the other side of people. There's a lot of people that kind of put themselves into this box where it's like, if I just wait for 7 years and be this person's friend, maybe they'll go on a date with me. If you're in the friend zone, you're not going on a date with them. I'm sorry. All they're doing is just keeping you around because they like attention, they like company, and they might even like resources. If you're really that super thirsty or whatever simpy guy who goes out of their way to take them out for meals and listen to them fucking cry about guys that they actually like and all this shit, and you're gonna try and be the sympathy lay. If you're that guy, it's never gonna happen. So if you like them as a friend, you want to have them as company, then sure, do whatever you want to do. But if you're actually trying to date someone and then that situation happens, waiting for 5 years or 7 years or 10 years is not the answer. Some guys pull it off and they're in the Hall of Fame as far as dating their best friend. That shit fucking never ever happens. But when it does happen, it's literally a Hall of Fame run. It's a dynasty when that shit happens. The amount of shit that this person had to do just to pull it off is fucking insane. I recall back and forth, she does something that makes me wonder and then pulls back, and I just didn't know what the deal was. And sometimes she was interested in past friendships and other times not. And even though I was honest about how I feel, and it was exactly that, I was that guy until I was like, no, I deserve better, and shifted to other things. The kind of guidance to people, that kind of guidance for people not in the know is definitely worth content creation. Yeah, bro. I can say with regards to that, there's also like a phenomenon. I literally saw a video on this yesterday. I can't remember what it's called, but it has an actual scientific name. Can't remember what it's called, and I want to cry because of that. But basically, and I'm sure some of you may have noticed this or had this happen to you. I know I've had it happen to me. But have you ever noticed that anytime you get into a relationship, that's when all these girls want to talk to you? That's when girls start to contact you on Instagram or reply to your DMs or want to hang out or ask for your phone number, all this shit. The moment you're in a fucking relationship, all these girls start liking your pictures. Do you ever notice that shit just starts to happen? There's a reason for that. And the reason is because girls have to be consolidated in groups to say, okay, you think this guy's attractive or this guy's worth being in a relationship with? If you think that, then I can convince myself to think that. I want something of value, and if you think this is valuable, now I think this is valuable. That shit happens. That's a real ass thing, bro. It's a survival tactic as well, if you want to go way back in the day. Not that I'm going to get all prehistoric or like evolution on you or anything. But it's the truth, where it's like, okay, so this guy is found to be attractive or successful or funny or something about this person. Even if they don't actually see it, if one of their friends or someone that they know gets in a relationship with that guy, it's like, what does that girl see in him? What makes this guy so good or interesting to her? What does she see? What does she like about him? And then you get that mysterious persona about yourself. And it's like, okay, now as the girl, I have to find out. I want to know. So I'm going to start looking through all this stuff. I'm going to start messaging him back, maybe, because maybe you messaged her and she said nothing, or she said fuck you, or whatever it is. And then months go by or years go by, and it's like all of a sudden, out of the woodwork comes someone that didn't give you the time of day, and now they magically do. It's very painful. Let me go back and read some of this. But yeah, kind of going back to like what you're saying as far as her going back and forth, saying like she was interested, then she's not interested. It's like, okay, so it's so annoying that this is how it is, but it's the balancing act where it's like, and this is the thing for me, I don't personally do this, I don't like to do this, but the idea of the chase where it's like, if you're a super nice guy and everything about you is completely normal, you have no crazy baggage or red flags or anything at all, you're just an average, normal, good person. If you are that person and a girl likes you and you instantly like her back, she's like, that was way too easy. Okay, so now that I have this guy, I'll put him in my back pocket and I'm going to continue on. So I'm not going to show interest, because if I ever want to be interested, he'll instantly say yes. So what is this? This is too fast, too easy. And it's super annoying, because it's like, why can't I just like you and you just like me? And then that's that. It's like, no, it was too easy and I needed a challenge. I need to feel like I earned something. So I don't care, since that was too easy. And then if you ever pull away and be like, okay, then let's say you do the exact same thing back to her, then she'll come back around and be like, oh, I thought I had you. I thought you were in the bag. Like, what happened? So now I got to be interested again and go back into chase mode to see if they can get you. And it's like, okay, so I left for like, let's say 2 weeks or whatever, and then you stop talking to them, whatever. They come back and you instantly reply. It's like, okay, I still got this guy. All right, so I can go back to just not giving a fuck again. And they can do that forever. Because unfortunately, this is like a social media thing too, is now that social media exists, people, not even girls, but just people in general, have infinite options. Where it's like, this guy, let's say a guy is like an 8 out of 10, but this guy's an 8.1. I'm going to talk to this guy, see if I can get him. And if I can get him super easy, because I got this guy super easy, this guy now disappears. Now I have this 8.1. But now it's an 8.3 over here. So I'm going to try and talk this 8.3. And if he's super down, then he can go in this guy's position, and the 8.1 is now gone. But now there's like a 8.8 over here. And it keeps on going forever. Right? And if the girl keeps on successfully pulling this off, where guys like, yeah, I'm just instantly down, that's how you get these girls that are insanely delusional, thinking that they're 10s and they should be dating, I don't know, some famous rapper, Drake or something like that, because every single person they've ever tried to talk to has always said yes. It's an annoying game that has evolved, but it's honestly the truth. I'm sure if you've ever been on TikTok or Instagram or anything like that ever, you don't even have to look at videos of people talking about this. It's more so even the fact that if you look in comment sections, a girl can post a picture or a video of literally anything at all, and it's hundreds or thousands of guys, depending on how big their social media is. And it's like, stunning, amazing, beautiful, I love you, godlike, all this other shit constantly. So it's like, it's a fucking buffet, bro. It's literally a fucking buffet for them to be like, oh, this person thinks I'm beautiful. Let me check them out. Oh, this person's a millionaire that lives in fucking Dubai or some crazy place. I'm going to DM them, or I'm going to just keep on posting stuff and then track this person and see if they keep on like liking my stuff and commenting on my stuff. And if they do, maybe someday they might message me and I'll know who it is. I've done my background checks because I'm fucking psycho or something. And if that's the world that they have, literally, that's what they'll do. Imagine being able to just be on your phone as a girl and just roll over in bed, open DMs, and be like, invites to parties, invites to some guy's house to bang, invites to a club, invites to a mansion, invites to a flight to go some crazy vacation or go on a yacht or whatever it is. It's just there. And you didn't even do anything except for exist and post some pictures. If that's the case, if that's the situation that people have created, or girls have created for themselves, not even from doing much, that's just kind of how it is. Kind of going back to that push and pull of yourself. It's like, if you are super easy to get and you have that level of status, it makes dating borderline impossible. At least in the world of doing things online. And I'm talking to somebody right now, as far as a friend of mine, who is trying to get into dating and doing stuff like that online. Not necessarily like the super high caliber shit, but it's like just the bullshit game that has to be played over the back and forth. And it's like, trying to find somebody to date online is borderline impossible. But if you were to try and do it in person, your success rate is so much higher. A lot of people are afraid to do it in person, though, like I said, because before, they don't want to be shut down. They don't want to be embarrassed in public. They don't want to be able to, they don't want to be in a situation where it's like they can't just close their phone and be like, oh God, that was horrible. I have to not be here now, right? It's like if you make a mistake in front of somebody in person, it's like you have to do that walk of shame or walk away from them, and it makes you very upset or sad or whatever you want to call it. And it's like, well, that's just how it is. But the success rate that you could be having in person would be easily 10 to 1 compared to on social media. The difference is that on social media, it feels less painful to be rejected when someone just reads your message or doesn't read your message and then they just disappear forever. You can message 1,000 girls from the comfort of your fucking bathroom or your bedroom or the kitchen or wherever you want. And if all of them say no, you don't care. But if one person in real life says no, it ruins your fucking life somehow. But on the flip side of things, it's like, okay, if you talk to 5 girls or 10 girls in real life and 3, let's say 5 of them say no. Let's say 4 of them say no. Or 6, let's say 6 of them say no. Let's say 6 out of 10 say no. But 4 say yes. It's like you already have, a 40% success rate versus a basically 0 or 0.0001% success rate. And the success rate from, let's say, online is having them reply. Nothing even happened. They just replied. Am I not a believer in the e-dating scene like eHarmony and such? What do you mean by that, bro? Do I believe like it works? I believe you can find people. I believe you can be successful as far as finding someone, but the hours or weeks or months spent swiping or typing or doing all this shit back and forth forever to find someone like that could have just been negated by having some courage and talking to somebody in person. It's just streamlines it. I think if you have the courage or the confidence to do it in person, you can be 10 times more successful and you know what you're actually signing up for. I say it's impossible because I will say, with regards to how social media is for dating sites specifically, whether it's Tinder or Hinge or eHarmony or anything like that, more often than not, the people that go to those types of sites are people who allegedly have tried in person, or they're scared of trying in person. So they're extremely shy or extremely awkward or have extremely low standards, or they have not worked on themselves. And they want to see what they can do, which is with the least amount of resistance possible, the least amount of friction possible. Not a lot of 10s on fucking eHarmony, guys or girls. Incredibly good-looking women are not on eHarmony. Incredibly good-looking guys are not on eHarmony or Tinder or any of these things. If they're on Tinder, for girls, it's to get guys to follow them on Instagram or go on their OnlyFans or whatever. For guys, it's hopes for the best to try and smash. That's realistically it. But if you're trying to find anything of quality as far as a girl or guy, that is going to be someone that you actually are genuinely going to be attracted to, and you don't think like it's like, not to say the bottom of the barrel or anything like that, but like settling. If you want something that you're not settling for, it's gonna have to be in person. That's the thing. Because realistically, like I said, if you see a girl online that's like an 8 or a 9 or a 10 out of 10, why the fuck would she go out of her way to open a DM from a complete stranger, be like, oh hell yeah, I'm down to just hang out and here's my number and let's go on a date, times thousands of people? They could literally just open their phone, swipe once, go past 150 people or 200 people, just click a random person. What are the chances that person's going to be you? Basically 0. And also, what are the chances that that person doing that swipe is going to be attracted to this random person out of all the people that are DMing them? If you really want to cut down your chance or cut down the probability and also bypass all those hundreds of people, do it in person. Like, let's say if we're having a one-on-one conversation in person where you're being DM'd by 200 people, are you going to talk to the 200 people in front of me, or are you going to talk to me right here, right now? You're going to talk to me right here, right now. And if you're like, no thanks, and it's like, okay, well then no thanks, and GG's, and that's it. Then you're out, right? But if you're in that pile of 200 people, they wouldn't even know you exist. That's the point. That's why I say it's impossible. The likelihood of a girl that's actually that girl that you actually want, skipping all those other people and actually picking you, even if you're a quality person. It's not even like they're saying no because you're not of quality. It's mostly they're saying nothing because they didn't even see you. That's the point. What if she says yes, but her body language says no? Not exactly playing hard to get, but literally doesn't verbally say no. In person, you mean? If she says yes, but her body language says no, there's 2 ways you can go about that. I would say if she says yes, but her body language says no, then I would say, just to, let's say, finish out the interaction, if she actually gives you her number, but she was like not really down, then you could say, I'll message you once. If you never reply, then I'll never message you again. If it's that kind of a thing. Or if you could say, let's say you go through it, so you can get her number and you can be like, I already know you're not going to reply. In which case, you could say, this is a saying I heard a very long time ago, where it's like, your actions speak so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying, which holds a lot of weight. Because for me, what that tells me is that your body language, your facial expression, your proximity to me when we're talking tells me you don't want to be here. Even though you're like, yeah, sure, I'll definitely go on a date with you. I'll definitely give you my number. If you have that fucking situation happen, first of all, this person's a werewolf or about to be a werewolf, so watch out. But also, they're not down to give you their number. Okay, so if that situation happens, it's like, okay, well, I have to be able to read body language, I have to be able to read facial expressions, and not have that be part of my life. The other part, and I guess the last part as well, is that if she's a werewolf, the last part of that as well is that she might actually be ultra shy, and she doesn't realize that she has a very closed off body language about herself, where it's like she might actually be saying yes, but her body language is saying no, because she's genuinely caught off guard and didn't think, wow, someone actually thinks I'm attractive. Wow, someone's actually approached me in real life, and they had the confidence to say something to me, and I was not prepared to be hit on or talked to, or I don't even know what to say. Like, let's say they fumble their words or they say something embarrassing because they don't talk to people very often, especially strangers. So there's also that chance too where you can give them the benefit of the doubt, and maybe they are much better at having text conversations with strangers compared to in real life. So, like I said, at least from me, my perspective is I want to find out. You have to be a hunter to an extent, where it's like, I'm going to find out the answers. If the answer is no, then thank you. That's great for me. If the answer is no, thank you. I don't want, I guess I'll just never ask, or I guess I'll just never find out, or I'll just hope one day she'll accidentally ask me out. Like, what the fuck? That's just not how it works. So for me, at least, I'd rather just know. If a girl makes a move first is because attention and not necessarily wants to ask a guy out, what's the move? If a girl asks you out on a date, I'll say this. If a girl asks you out on a date, I would say she'd probably, not 100%, but most likely actually does like you. Because here's the thing. If she's asking you out on a date as a complete stranger, most likely, just to get free food, that's just never going to happen. The reason being is because she doesn't have to ask you to get her free food, because there's a whole fucking lineup of guys who are already willing to do it. So why would she put herself out there asking you for a free meal when you now have the power to say no? Why the fuck would she do that? She's never going to put herself in a position to be like, yeah, I don't actually like you, I just want to get something for free. I'm going to ask somebody and try and get them to think that I like them, and hopefully they like me back just so I can do this thing. It's like, no, I'm going to talk to these people that are guaranteed that I don't like, that will do this thing for me for free. That's just how that is. So no, it's not going to be just for attention, because attention, she can get that from anybody at any time. As far as like, I don't have to go out of my way to find somebody new who might not be down, right? It doesn't make any sense. If she's someone, no, I don't think that would be a realistic thing to do. I'm sure, here's the thing, there are girls I'm sure that would go out of their way to just do that, but it's just extra work. Because like, here's the thing, the number one reason why girls always say, even, it's the man's job to ask the girl out, it's the man's job to ask for the number, it's the man's job to plan the date, is because if that's how things go, the ball is always in their court to decide what they want to do. If I give you a proposition that is a yes or a no answer, you get to choose the outcome. So as the girl, why would I ever give the power to the man to say, you get to pick the outcome? Never. That's why it's the man's job to say, can I have your number? And the girl gets to say yes or no. Do you want to go on a date with me? The girl gets to say yes or no. They're never going to put themselves in a situation like that on purpose if they don't actually like you. It just doesn't make any sense to do. If it's like some weird dominant, like fucking, I don't know what you call it, some weird, not tick, but like, that's the wrong word. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like some weird dominance thing about themselves where it's like, I just want to see if I can get a guy to like me just because, then sure. But that's very, very different, and also very, very rare. You don't see that very often, where a girl's like, I'm just gonna just do this. And if he says that he likes me, I just wanted to see if he would say it. That basically never happens. Let me see. The reason I asked is because there was a Twitter clip that was blowing up recently that had a girl say something like, "I'll give you a kiss if you do X, Y, and Z," and the guy in response was immediately not interested. So I thought it'd be for attention. Yeah, that's not real though, bro. If someone does like some shit on Twitter or TikTok for a video, I would not be judging that as real life. Like, you'll see videos on TikTok where it's like, I don't know, this is one girl that does like kiss or slap. It's like, she'll go up to some guy, or no, it's not kiss or slap, like she does that too, but she'll go up to a guy and be like, "I need you to like rate me out of 10." And this guy is like 350 pounds, giant Slipknot t-shirt, neck beard, just the slobbiest guy ever. And this girl's basically a fucking model. And he'd be like, "I'd say you're like a 2. It's like, that. This is fake. This is not real. Whether or not it's the truth of how he actually feels or not, why did you pick him to say that to you? Why are you even talking to this person? Because it gets views." Like, that's a billion% not real. It's the same thing as like the gold digger Lambo things, where it's like a guy pretends to be homeless and he goes like this and takes his huge disgusting jacket off and he has a suit on and perfectly done hair and he goes over to a fucking Lambo, and all of a sudden this girl that was so stuck up and just a huge bitch to this homeless guy all of a sudden wants to go on a date and give him her number and all this shit. It's like, that's just been fake since the beginning of time. So for yourself, if you need that clarity, that's fine, but I promise you in my life, that's not real life. It's just not real life. And if for some reason, let's just say it was like a hidden camera, because I don't know which one you're talking about, but people do stuff like that all the time, as far as pranks or like dating advice, TikTok type shit. Yeah, if it was like let's say, hidden camera show and the guy didn't know that it was being recorded, how often does this ever happen in real life? I'll just say, if I was just walking down the street and a girl that doesn't have a microphone, doesn't have a camera, doesn't have anything at all, she just comes up to me and she's like, "Oh, if you, I don't know, go to the store and buy me a Coke and Skittles or some just random thing in a bag of popcorn or something, then I'll give you a kiss." I'd be like, first of all, why can't you buy that yourself? Second of all, where the fuck did you come from? Because this interaction does not happen. This is not a real interaction that ever happens. If a girl ever came up to me and just said some random ass shit like that, it's like, "Oh, if you take your shirt off and then put on this shirt and spin in a circle, I'll flash you." It's like, where's the camera, bro? Immediately I'm saying, where's the camera? That's just not fucking real, bro. So if that kind of thing ever happens, if you ever see something like that, like, you gotta just know. And that's obviously, like, that's a very extreme example, but you just know that that's gotta be fucking fake. There's no chance, right? I'll even see that there's other videos too that are out there where it's like a guy will talk to a girl and be like, what's your, I don't know, do you think you have like Riz, or do you have the ability to like pick up a guy? And then he'll be like, "Okay, go get a guy's number right now." And she'll be like, "Okay." And she goes over and picks some guy, and it's like, how come this guy is mic'd? Why does this guy have a microphone on? Why is the audio quality super far away very good? Is she also mic'd? Like, what's going on here? So you just picked a random person who automatically says, let's say in this situation, they automatically say no to try and make the video be like, "Yeah, see this girl, she sucks at picking up guys." Or the guy automatically says yes to be like, "Oh, it's so easy for girls. Like, they don't have to even try. All I have to do is exist." Like, it's all just for content. It's unfortunate, but like, I would say, don't believe literally anything you see on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter as far as live reality TV, hidden camera type shit. It's all nonsense. What if the girl says yes but then changes her mind later? Should you take it personally? No. Everybody has the ability to change their mind. No one's gonna be locked in. Like, I will say, one of the things that's like the most detrimental to any relationship ever is time. It's very, very annoying when that happens, where it's like, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You don't even like somebody else, but we haven't talked in a week. So now you're just not interested." If that happens, then it happens. You can't really be mad at someone. And I guess as a little test, what you could do is, if you're ever in that situation, is if you message that person, not to say like a week later, but let's say throughout the week or whatever it is, consistently, if you're always the first person to message, you're always the person, let's say, liking their pictures or texting them first or doing whatever. If you're always the person doing that first, and this is like age old fucking advice, but if you ever stop doing it and it just ends forever, then they didn't change their mind. It was just their mind was never in the place that you thought it was in the first place. This is how it is. So yeah, if someone, let's say, genuinely likes you, let's say let's say, we'll go even a step further. Let's say that they asked you for your number and they texted you first and they were excited to talk to you and liked your pictures and wanted to hang out with you and call you and all this stuff. And then time goes by, then they just stop. If they just change their mind, then they change their mind. I will say this though. There's basically no girl on earth ever who just decides to not like you and then just sits at home and does fucking nothing. I promise you on my life, either they're going through something that is very like stressful or hardcore for them in their life, or there's someone else. Never in the history of the world ever has there ever been a girl who's just like, I don't want to talk to this guy anymore, and I'm just going to do nothing instead. She's either busy with work, busy with school, talking to somebody else, or something bad happened. If it's just like, oh, I feel like doing nothing. It's like, that's not true. Girls, most girls, basically every girl ever is addicted to attention. Absolutely addicted to attention. So if they can't get it from you, or they're getting it from someone else that they like more, they're going to go to that other person. And if their time is just, let's say, taken up from school or work or traumatic event or whatever it might be, just something that fills their time, so they don't have time to be interested in you or anything like that, then that's the only other thing. But to just say, oh, my schedule's wide open, work is slow, all my school is done, and there's nobody else, I just want to do nothing, that is not real. They might say they want to do nothing for like an hour or maybe a day, but to just never talk to you again, be like, oh, a week's gone by and all I do is I just come home and sit on the couch and do nothing, and I'm not even depressed, I'm just existing. That's not real. Doesn't happen like that. What if you send a text to her and she doesn't respond? You shouldn't send another text to ignore her, right? You could send one other text, just be like, oh, what was it? There's something that somebody said a long time ago. I'm trying to think of what it was, where it's like the only thing you could ever say in a double text, if you feel the need to send a double text, and let's say it's been a while, like it's pretty clear that she's not down anymore, you could just be like, you can send a text being like, I really thought we were hitting it off. It's kind of unfortunate that you decided to stop talking to me. Anyways, like, that's it. You should just say something like that. And the reason is because if she's like actually not interested in you, then she won't reply to that. If she reads it and doesn't reply, then you know it's done for sure. If she replies and is mad at you, then be like, all I'm looking for is some communication. Is that too much to ask? And if the answer is yes, that's too much to ask, then you just dodged a bullet because you don't want to be with someone that's like that. And if it's no, it's not too much to ask, and she says sorry, then you're fine. And if she genuinely is sorry off rip and doesn't even get mad, and she sees that like that situation is happening, and say, oh shit, like I should actually be like paying attention, it shows that you also have options and you're not going to like come crawling back to this person and cry and try and make them like you. Just be like, oh, okay, I thought we were hitting it off, but I guess we weren't. Oh well, I'll talk to you never, I guess. And if she's like, oh, okay, we'll talk to you never, it's like, okay, well that just saved me a shit ton of time, as far as like not wasting your time chasing someone. But if she's like, oh no, please, like I still want to talk to you, like I was busy, my mom and this stuff and all this was happening, it's like, okay, then at least you have an answer and she actually was serious. But you want to show that you're interested but not infinitely available. Let's put it that way. Yeah, if you send her a message and it literally says read, she read that shit. Every single person on earth in the entire world ever in the fucking universe has their phone at arm's length at all times. Whether you're sleeping, driving, at the gym, taking a fucking dump. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, your phone is always on you. So for someone to go out of their way, not even go out of their way, but for someone to allegedly not be on their phone for 8 or 10 hours a day is a complete lie, because when you text someone, it comes down at the top and goes back up, right? So if someone sees that and they decide, I don't want to read this, or I don't want to reply to this, they just won't. They fucking saw it, bro. I promise you they saw it. With how everyone's on their phone at all fucking times, I promise you on my life that they saw your message, and whether they opened it and they said read or not, they didn't want to talk to you. That was that. I think one of the things too, I will say for myself, as far as the advice that I'm giving you guys, or even like the things that I've seen as far as how all these things go down, it's kind of strange how outrageously accurate it actually is or can be if you just sit back or take yourself out of the situation and just look at the situation and be like, okay, what exactly is happening? The thing that's happening right now in front of me, I know exactly the outcome of this. I know exactly how it's going to go. I know exactly what they're going to say or how they're going to act. If I just follow these steps or like pay attention to let's say what I've said or the advice that other people I'm sure have even given to you in the past, it'll save you so much heartache or so much pain or just annoyance in life. Even for me, there's a good handful of girls that I've talked to or dealt with in the past where it's like, can we just not do this whole conversation? Because I already know how it's going to end. It's just a straight up waste of time. Even if you don't know what you're going to say, I already know what you're going to say. And I've said that to girls before and then been right. It's like, I just know how this is going to go. It's not even like it's a waste of time, but we can just cut to the chase here. You can just say you're sorry or you're not. You can do whatever you want. And we just get on with it, because I don't really feel like wasting 45 minutes or an hour or having drama or ups and downs and all kinds of bullshit. It's like, I just know how it's going to go. This is making hard reads in real life. Something I've been doing for the last 4 years, at least. So it's like, yeah, same thing happens when we're playing Smash, honestly. Yeah, if you pour your heart out to a girl, yeah, so let me just read this. Here's another question. If you're sending a long text to a girl to amend a relationship and she replies by literally saying K, is the relationship not worth it then? Yeah, it's definitely not worth it. If she doesn't even give you the time of day to give you a real response or call you or explain herself, a girl will typically say, I was overwhelmed and I don't know what to say. It's like, no, it's not that you didn't know what to say. It's that you didn't want to say anything. You're trying to tell me girls that love to talk and talk shit and gossip and chit chat and all the other words you want to say, you're trying to tell me that you had nothing to say. You had nothing to say. You didn't even want to yell at me. You had nothing to say. You're fucking lying. You're a goddamn liar. No, it's the truth. If they just say K and you give them a goddamn novel, it's like, they just don't care. Which is even more painful, in my opinion, more painful than being yelled at. Because if you get yelled at, that means at least they cared to say something. Even if they're just telling you off and they're like, fuck you, all this shit, some bullshit, post some story, whatever. At least they cared. But if they just say, okay, and you, like, let's say, I don't know, you pour out your whole entire life to this person, they just don't care. If that's how it is, that's how it is, unfortunately. As far as saving a relationship in that regard, no, it's basically impossible. And the more you push, the worse it gets. Yeah, the more you push towards someone, as far as like, let's say you put out a text novel and then they just say okay, and then you put another text novel and then they just read that, and they put another text novel and then they just don't even read that, and you put another one to correct what you were saying before, then you call them 5 times. It's like, not only do you look insane, but they didn't care. You could have put out 1,000 novels. It doesn't matter what you did. You could have given them a goddamn animated series about your life decisions and how you're going to fix things for them. It's like, they don't care. And here's a great thing about life, is that they don't care. There's millions of girls out there. So she doesn't have to care. That's one of the things too about, like I said a while ago, part of being a man is being able to build yourself up so that once you provide value, it's not like someone will care, more like a ton of people will care. Most people will care. If you are a high status individual, and I don't mean like making $1 million or anything like that. I'm saying like if you're someone who's healthy and in shape, has skills, has their life together, has their money together, even if it's just an average job, if you're just an average job type of person, a lot of people will care. Not because they like stand to benefit a ton from you, but because you also have options. If you're just some scummy bum guy who lives with his parents, plays video games all day, and is completely broke and have nothing going on with your life, then the number one thing you have to do to try and fix, I guess, your life or your relationship life is to build up those skills. Build up some skills, right? Don't have to be making $100,000 a year. Don't have to be Mr. Olympia. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, if you have qualities about yourself that are actually desirable, people will notice. And then you don't have to type out text novels to people. That's like the same thing for me. If I'm ever talking to a girl, even in the last year or 2 years, if a girl's ever like, yeah, cool, but also no, I'm like, okay, no as well. And that's it. That's just the end of it. I'm like, what? Please, no, why? Hello, mom? What's going on? How do I do this? What's going on? Please, no? Okay, goodbye. Like, that's not going to be a whole long conversation and a freak out and destruction of 12 worlds to try and fix this. It's like, it's unfixable. Because that's the thing with regards to relationships, is there's no logic in a relationship to say, oh, well, if you had said this differently, everything would be right. It's like, no, if someone is emotionally against you or the thought of you being with that person, then that's that. The only thing that will change that is if they change it. You can't finesse somebody into liking you. Because if you even do that, eventually they're going to be like, yeah, I thought I was down, but I'm actually not. This is all smoke and mirrors. This is some bullshit. I'm out. So... but yeah, that's the thing that's like crazy to me. It's like, if something is genuinely unsalvageable, this is part of just being a man in general, is you always feel like part of your character in life is that I have to be the person that is the hero, that fixes things, the person that people can rely on, or the person that can build things back up from the ground when things go horribly, horribly wrong. So when you're put in a position where you want to be able to do that, and you can't do that because the situation you're in is genuinely unfixable from an outside force, it feels terrible. It's like, how can I not fix this? There's got to be something I could do. There's got to be some way I can fix this, and you'll try everything. Meanwhile, it's like, bro, there's no fucking chance. You've been trying to fix this for a week or a month or years, depending on the situation. It's like, there's just no point in doing this. And it feels devastating as a man to be like, I'm supposed to be the protector, the provider, all these other fucking things you want to say. Any of that shit. I'm supposed to be this person. And this person is not letting me be this person. And I don't know what to do. If that situation happens, it's unfortunate, but that's part of growing up or being a higher value person in general, is to say, if this is unfixable, I know that I've done all I can. But if it's unfixable, it's because of them at this point. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that they are the variable that has to change. And that's just what it is. I think just answering questions like this for you guys, even if it feels like for some of you guys listening right now, some of these questions might feel like the most obvious questions, or might have the most obvious answers in the world. And for some people, like, that's totally fine. And other questions is like, oh shit, this is a question I didn't even think of. Right? So it's good that you guys are asking the stuff that you're asking. I do like being able to answer these questions as much as I possibly can. I'll say it's always nice, at least for myself, to come from a perspective of logic, even if it's harsh or like it feels ruthless. It's like, unfortunately, the world is ruthless. You can't just be like, oh, well, if you do this fucking amazing soliloquy, poem, godlike story, novel type of text, this person will now fall in love with you, and it'll be automatically perfect, and everything will be fixed. It's like, that's not how it is, right? Especially with how many people there are and how many options there are in the world for people. I'm not going to say nothing is salvageable, but if you're not married to somebody, or if you've not been in a relationship with them for years upon years, there's basically nothing you can do to just like fix a texting back and forth relationship, or a relationship where you went on a date with someone 2 times and then they just stopped liking you. It's like, if that's that, that's that. Like, there's no skin in the game for them to really give a fuck. So if that's how it is, and that's how it is. I feel like I'm always blunt. Yeah, that's the thing too, bro. Nowadays, not enough people are blunt or serious as far as telling the truth, because a lot of people can't handle the truth. People are really out here sugarcoating the truth to protect people's feelings, and long term it just hurts them more. Imagine, like, this is one of those things too, and I'm not going to get into the whole like realm of talking about therapy and shit like that, but a lot of people, I will say, that give you the soft advice, they will give you that soft advice forever and nothing changes. It's one of the worst things in the world to me, is when I see people get advice where it's like, oh, just take the slow, sweet, gentle, 50,000 years to develop approach. That will work. It's like, no, It won't fucking work. Why are you going to waste your fucking life and your time trying to fix something that is genuinely unfixable? If you have to reconstruct your entire character and your entire life just to get someone to change their mind on something, I'm sorry, but if it's not your wife or your husband or your child or your parents, it's not worth doing. Straight up, it's not worth doing. If I had to change everything about myself to get one person in the chat, for example, to like me, no, not fucking doing that. Never. Now, what for? It doesn't make any sense to do. Same thing for a girl. Same thing for a random friend. If it's a friend, like let's say I meet someone at the gym or whoever it might be, just like a random bro, and I want to be friends with them, and they're like, oh, well, you don't smoke weed? Well, me and my friends, we all smoke weed, so if you want to hang out with us, you have to do that. I'd be like, I guess we're not friends then. It's like, yo, what the fuck? I thought we were friends. Like, thought we were too, but I guess not. Oh well. I don't know what to tell you, bro. If that's how it is, and that's how it is. And I could be like, oh, I have to, no. Like, what is this? Get out of here. Same thing, like, if a girl, I don't know, if a girl has some crazy, not necessarily an ultimatum, because I think that's kind of extreme to say, but like something dumb to be like, oh, if you want to date me, then you have to, I don't know, stop doing this one thing because I said so. It's like, but we're not even dating yet, and you're trying to control my life. This is where tolerance threshold comes into play, which I talked about a super long time ago, where it's like, so if you already want me to stop doing this one thing and we haven't even started dating yet, once we're in love, what else are you going to try and take away from me to control me, to make sure that I'm exactly what you want, until I'm not even who I am anymore, if that makes sense. It's like, yo, I'm not doing this shit. You should never ever do that for anybody. It's not worth doing. Especially since the probability of finding someone who already likes you for who you are is so much higher than having to switch everything about yourself to fit into the mold of somebody else. It's like, why would you do this? If you do that to yourself, then that screams desperation, in my opinion, to say there's no one better I could possibly get. There's nothing I could possibly do to find somebody else ever. So I'm going to just contort into a different person because this person might say yes if I just meet all their demands. It's too insane. How would you say is some good ways to start a conversation with someone, especially if it's not a tournament or a person you don't know, like a grocery store or a library? One of the best things that you could do, in my opinion, and this is going to sound kind of stupid, but it is stupid, is if you, let's say if it's in the grocery store, or let's say the library, or the gym, or let's say it's a cashier, just point out the obvious. Just point something out that's super obvious, and then just say, I don't know what like. You can say something like, I don't know what I was trying to say, but I just wanted to have an excuse to introduce myself. Once you've introduced yourself, and this is actually crazy powerful too, just because you go from the threshold from stranger to acquaintance. This is the easiest way to go from stranger to acquaintance so fast. Is you can go in and you can say, point out the obvious, something stupid, whatever. It doesn't have to be super intelligent or interesting, whatever. But once you've introduced yourself and told this person your name, you are now never a stranger ever again. This is how it is. Even if they forget your name. Let's say you see someone at a grocery store and then a month goes by and let's say you never talk to them again. But if you see that person, you'll recognize them. Even if you forget their name, they forget your name. You can be like, oh, hey, I saw you here a long time ago. How's it going? Whatever. What was your name again? And then they're all like, once again, you would never do that with a complete stranger. But going from stranger to acquaintance just by saying your name is crazy. And then from there, if you really want to push it further, you could ask for a number, ask for Instagram, whatever it is, if that's the strat. As far as things to talk about, it depends on what you're doing. If you're talking about, let's say if it's at the library, if you're reading a book that maybe you know nothing about it, but you're interested in talking to them, you could be like, you could ask them like what do they like about the book? Are they enjoying the book? Are they looking at it for school? Are they someone that reads a lot? Like, what do they like? And try and have a conversation about that. If you're at a library, I'm assuming you also read a lot too, right? If that's what it is. If you're at like a library in a college or university, and it's not necessarily like you're there for reading, but they're more so there for studying, just ask if you can sit down and hang out with them. If they're studying, it's going to be like, let's say they're hardcore studying, just be like, you don't want to take up a bunch of their time, but I thought they were really cute or pretty or attractive, whatever it is, and I just want to get their number, and I'll get out of your way, let you continue studying, and I'll message you later, right? It's just in and out quickly versus being like a huge commitment. That's what I would do. Does it piss you off if some guys treat girls like pieces of meat instead of real people? Does that make sense? Like doing that in front of me or just like in general populace? Like if people are doing it in front of me or in general, it's not that it doesn't really piss me off. It's more so it's almost a good thing realistically, because if guys do it, it tells me that I don't want to be friends with them, and if girls accept it, that tells me I don't want to be with them. So they're kind of doing the pruning or pruning process for me as far as that. I'm never gonna white knight for a fucking stranger, I'll tell you that right now, because you don't know if this guy's fucking insane. So some girls getting hit on or doing some crazy thing, getting catcalled or whatever, I'm not gonna be like, excuse me, like what the fuck? No, because for all I know, I'm about to get fucking punched in the face for a girl I don't even know. I'm not doing this. It's not the movies, bro. We're not doing this. If this is my girlfriend, then it's different. But if it's just a random girl and she just like gets, I don't know, whistled at or some shit, like I don't fucking know, something dumb like of that caliber, then it's like, okay, that's how that happened, I guess. It's not for me to just interject and be a white knight in real life, especially in 2022 when the most popular thing in the world right now is the cry out for equality. How dare you white knight for a woman that can take care of herself? No thanks. Do I want to be a part of that shit? I am more than fine.